The zero COVID policy, not a new one of the Chinese government, but it has begun to test the patience of the people, and that's the reason why the world is seeing these images emerging from China of the people out on the streets of the main capital city of Beijing. Even Shanghai, the bigger cities, are seeing huge protests with cries of "Step down Xi Jinping." Chants of "Release the people," "End the lockdown," "End restrictions," and "Down Xi Jinping" have been reverberating in China. Many protesters were seen holding up blank pieces of paper, a symbolic protest against censorship. University students have joined the protest as well. Around 200 to 300 students rallied at Beijing's elite Tsinghua University to protest against lockdowns. So why are the people really protesting? Why are they out in the streets now? Strict COVID restrictions and lockdown measures in different parts of China have actually been in effect for many months together. So it's not like the Chinese people are new to these restrictions. But there has been a tipping point, and that tipping point has been this fire in a high-rise apartment in which 10 people died. In fact, people had to jump out of the window to save themselves. The reason? This apartment was actually locked down. Fire trucks couldn't reach the building because of pandemic-controlled barriers. Many cars, in fact, were parked right below the building, which prevented the fire trucks to move in swiftly. Residents have been under some of the country's longest lockdowns, barred from leaving their homes. In this particular region, the people were actually in a lockdown for 109 days. China's average new cases on a daily basis is hovering around the 40,000 mark. The hardline COVID-19 policy, the flawed zero COVID policy, has led to a lot of resentment, and this has been simmering. Mass testing is carried out in several places. Newborn babies are not spared. People found to have COVID-19 are isolated at home or packed off to a quarantine camp where they have to pay for the quarantine services. Blue barriers were seen on the road in Shanghai that saw large protests over the weekend. In fact, state media mouthpiece for the ruling Chinese Communist Party has no mention of the protests. A BBC journalist was kicked and also arrested. BBC has issued a statement condemning the same. It is perceived that China handled the COVID-19 situation fairly well at the outbreak of the pandemic. For example, it set up COVID-19 dedicated hospitals in just a matter of days, speaking volumes of its readiness. The world watched amazed. However, the World Health Organization has continuously maintained that Omicron is going to be very difficult to contain, given that there are over 500 sub-lineages of Omicron circulating all over the world right now. In fact, in China, it is the BF.7 variant of Omicron which is leading to an increase in cases. It has been seen in other countries like Singapore, US and India as well. However, the Chinese government seems to be justifying its harsh COVID-19 measures, saying that China has a huge population of the elderly and also that there is some amount of vaccine hesitancy amongst the people, particularly among the senior people, and it wants to prevent more and more people from dying. However, what's clear is that cases are increasing in spite of these harsh measures.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today Newsmo.